And honestly, a lot of you are really ugly. I looked at your pages, so I'm not taking advice from ugly people.
Hey, welcome back. We are going to be talking about Tess Holiday today. She had an experience while flying this week that she is really hamming up. She is making it seem like she had some emotionally traumatic experience, and really she had a conversation with a stranger.
Originally, I wasn't going to go into great detail about what happened to me, but given the amount of people that have reached out to me, and now that I have been in contact with United, not Delta, because I misspoke.
In her original post about this, she blamed Delta instead of United. That's what she's referring to here. The original post was basically a carousel of text, so we're going to read it out loud. The worst part of existing in a larger body isn't the body itself, it's how other people treat you because of it. Today, a Delta first class flight attendant lectured me about my body after seeing I was flying with my child. 10 minutes of unsolicited health tips I didn't ask for. I work out 5 days a week. I go to a sauna every day. I eat organic produce. I don't drink soda or eat fast food.
That's not true.
And even if I did, none of that gives anyone the right to treat me like a problem to be solved. I don't know why someone who is as chronically online as Tess Holiday is would lie about something that is so easy to verify.
I hate when you go to a restaurant and they're like, is Pepsi okay? No, it's not okay. I want Coke. I want a crispy Coke. I don't want a Pepsi. I don't want it.
Of course she drinks soda, of course she eats fast food, and for me personally, those things wouldn't even be worth discussing outside of the fact that she lies about them and claims to have a restrictive eating problem. And this is the person who was just lecturing us about integrity not too long ago. People see a fat body and forget there's a person inside of it. A person who's already done the work to love herself in a world that keeps telling her not to. Health isn't a moral mandate. Plus-size folks don't owe proof of our habits to deserve respect, kindness, or basic human decency. I'm tired, it's exhausting, but I share this because I know I'm not alone. You deserve to exist in your body without apology, without justification, without needing to earn respect first. You are not the problem. The stigma is. Keep taking up space, literally and unapologetically. So that is how Tess Holiday initially shared this story. And just as a quick side, a few people were wondering why I mentioned fat acceptance in the J-Bay arrest video. This is why. This first slide is one of the core tenets of fat acceptance. And it's just a flat out lie that the worst thing about being hundreds of pounds overweight is other people. On top of all the comorbidities associated with obesity, we just learned that your size alone could exclude you from mental health care. I have a little more patience and understanding with other fat activists, but Tess Holiday knows exactly what she's doing.
Do you know what takes literally 2 seconds to do? Shutting the up when you want to say something about somebody's body.
Her captions on that actually say that we should call our therapist and discuss our issues with self-projection, which is pretty rich coming from someone who just wrote a self-help book for teens that basically reads as a grown woman attempting to validate herself through teenagers.
This is my mom, and she's gonna tell you about her new book, and you better listen and you better be nice.
Even just based off of the story we're about to hear her recount, I really wonder what kind of things she talks to her kid about.
I'm in talks with United now. I'm flying with my 9-year-old who was so excited to fly first class for the first time. We're on the airplane. We are watching Lilo and Stitch. I'm telling you this for a reason. And we have both of our TVs at the exact same time. I paused my TV because I said I need to go to the bathroom. I paused the TV at about 18 minutes, 30 seconds.
She's telling us this because the movie is basically going to be the timer for how long this all took.
I go to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom maybe a total of 2 minutes. When I get up out of the bathroom, like get up from the toilet seat, my hip hit the flight attendant call button. I get a knock on the door from the flight attendant in first class cabin asking if I'm okay, to which I reply yes.
I think this is the second time she's told us that she's in first class. I'm not sure if that makes a difference. I've never been in first class, so if that's relevant to the bathroom, let me know.
I get out of the cabin and the flight attendant said, "Oh, those bathrooms are so small." And I go, "I know. Did they get smaller?" And he responded to me and said, "Well, you know why they're small? Because the airlines don't make money on them." And I was like, we had a little laugh about it. I wish the conversation ended there, but it did not.
A conversation takes two people. I am definitely someone who's been on the receiving end of conversations I didn't want to have with strangers in public. It happens actually a lot, I feel, but I am fully aware that it's my own inability inability to end those conversations, because however I feel about ending it, like I'm being rude or callous, it's still me making a decision. So I struggle to understand this story as some kind of traumatic experience.
He then proceeds to tell me that his sister was using his companion flight, who was a very, very, very large woman, probably my size.
I don't really believe this, and I know I wasn't there, but Tess also teed this up by telling us she didn't drink soda, and we just listened to a video of her talking about her favorite soda. So I feel less guilty about not giving her the benefit of the doubt. This person might have said very large woman, but I highly doubt they said very, very, very large.
And that she had gotten a middle seat because she was flying standby. The person beside her didn't like that she was large, filed a complaint with the airline, to which United then reached out to the flight attendant that was telling me this and said things about his sister that made him uncomfortable, to which he said, I never told my sister because they weren't very nice things. And it's so crazy how you're so close to dunking the basketball, but you completely hit it off court.
So per her own account, up until this point, it seemed like she was actually having a pleasant conversation with a flight attendant on an airplane.
Because then what he proceeded to tell me was that, but he did agree that she did need to lose weight, that she was very large, and that he saw I was traveling with my child, and that if I cared about my child, that I would do something, that I would lose the weight.
So if the flight attendant actually said the second part, I would agree with Tess that that's a weird thing for a stranger to say. But if a stranger really just said that to her, then is this reply not kind of strange?
I then told him that I work as a diversity and inclusivity consultant with brands to help them with issues like this, with folks being discriminated against, etc.
For me, that just feels like a total non sequitur, and if someone just questioned my care for my child, I would probably reply directly to that. Obviously, I can't know exactly what was said, but I do know that if at any moment Tess felt offended or uncomfortable, she could have communicated that. And actually, since she's been trying to follow up with United since this event, it probably would have been prudent to do that in the moment.
He didn't even hear what I said, because then he flew past me and started talking about how he was in the military, how he had to eat the military meals. They were full of sodium. It made him feel unhealthy, and that his German wife, who weighs less than 100 pounds, bakes their bread from scratch and doesn't eat any of the processed crap in America. And that's why she is slender.
Of everything she shared so far, this seems like it bothered her the most. And it's not too hard to understand why.
There are a few words that I don't allow when somebody comes into my house, and healthy is one of them.
If Tess really believed that she was healthy and she really believed that she was doing all the right things, I don't think that hearing about someone else's healthy habits would stun her into silence.
I didn't really know what to say. I know a lot in the comments, everybody's like, you should have said this, you should have done this. In the moment, I was trying to be polite, because I'm traveling with who? My child.
If she really didn't know what to say, this could have been another opportunity to politely walk away from the conversation.
He then goes on to tell me that because of my size, I am kidding myself if I think that I don't need to lose weight, and that my main issue is in my belly region, because that is the because all of the fat and the inflammation wraps around your organs, making it really difficult if they need to resuscitate you.
That is not the only reason visceral fat is the most dangerous fat. There are a few reasons, one of the main ones being that's the most metabolically active fat. So we're talking about your hormones getting interfered with. It can also interfere with organ function and seep into organs. You can actually get non-alcoholic fatty liver disease this way. And I'm assuming the person she's talking to knows a lot of this stuff, and that's probably part of why he feels impassioned to talk to her about it. Whether the aisle of an airplane is the best place to do that, I don't know. But to me, it sounds like he's at least approaching it from a good place, in good faith.
Which triggered for me, because a few days prior, I actually had to help when someone was incapacitated while their children were there, while I'm on the phone with 911, who was a larger bodied individual who was not able to be resuscitated on the scene. And it really messed with me. It messed with me.
That would really mess with me too. That sounds awful. But she's saying that with the trigger, like the flight attendant somehow could have known that.
So I heard what he's saying, and I hear what you guys are thinking. Oh, logically, he was just being helpful. That's not the point. That's not the point. You don't say things like that to people. He said a myriad of other things. The conversation lasted entirely too long.
I'm not sure if I would tell a stranger that their size might make it hard for them to be resuscitated if they were ever in an emergency situation, but I also don't know if that wouldn't just slip out of my mouth because I struggle with small talk and like knowing what's appropriate with strangers, but I just don't get malice from the conversation she's describing.
Thankfully, I excused myself from the conversation when another passenger came up to use the bathroom. I went back to my seat, to which my 9-year-old said, "Where were you?" "I'm on 31 minutes of the movie. You were gone for quite some time." I then told him what happened. He was obviously annoyed.
So I'm not a parent, and maybe my take here is totally wrong, but if I felt like I was being body shamed on a trip with my kid, which I did just get body shamed pretty severely recently and very publicly, but if I had a kid waiting on me in a car after that incident, there's no way I would have told them about it.
I sit in my seat, and then 2 seconds later, the flight attendant comes around asking if anyone wants snacks, to then which he offers my 9-year-old a pack of gummies because he said it would keep him from being tempted. So I will let you guys know what happens with United, but obviously it sucked.
I'm not really sure what United would or should do other than reprimand this employee who I don't think was trying to be a bad person. But we don't know how much of this is real and how much of this is exaggerated for Tess Holiday's brand. And she seemingly politely engaged in a really long conversation with this person. Seemingly a lot of information was shared, where at any point she could have looked at him and said, "I'm sorry, you're making me uncomfortable," or "I'm sorry, this feels unprofessional." But she didn't, and now she's trying to act like she's traumatized. She referred to this as an out-of-body experience.
Yes, I'm in my car making another video. What about it? To everyone that's on my motherfucking post about the flight attendant and then being crazy fatphobic to me.
She is obviously deleting these comments because when you look under these videos, it's just everyone telling her what an awful, traumatizing, horrible experience she had.
And everyone's like, but he was right. What's it like to be a dumb bitch? What's it like?
It has its perks. Imagine trying to brand yourself as a professional diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant while declaring everybody who doesn't think like you a dumb bitch. The information he shared with her was factual. Whether it was professional could be debated, but I do have to keep in mind that this is a conversation she could have walked away from at any moment.
Is it fun over there? Do you guys have snacks and like fun things to do? Because you sound really stupid.
Well, this is certainly a compelling and persuasive argument.
And honestly, a lot of you are really ugly. I looked at your pages, so I'm not taking advice from ugly people.
There she is. That's the real Tess. Honestly, when I listen to Tess Holiday call people like me dumb and ugly for disagreeing with her, I feel way more comfortable listening to that content, watching that content, because it's not a human being looking me in the eyes and lying to my face, which is what the majority of fat acceptance is. I don't think that makes everyone in fat acceptance malicious. I do think the majority of people who perform and participate in fat acceptance are doing it from a place of deep insecurity as a way to cope, but Tess Holiday no longer falls into that category for me. To me, she is a grifter, and because of the scope of her influence, her grift has harmed and will continue to harm people until that scope is diminished.
I just had my book signing in Nashville. I'm sitting in bed, eating peanut M&Ms, and, well, my hair was so cute.
I know I've said this before, but I really don't know what Tess Holiday cares about other than Tess Holiday. I don't even believe that it's fat acceptance. I just think that's an avenue for her to make money through. I do not think she's a good role model.
A best-selling author? I'm a best-selling author? What?
But despite my own personal thoughts and feelings, this is a best-selling author in front of us. So credit where credit is due. She at least picked the right grift.
Nailed it.
Let me know your thoughts about all this down below, especially if you think I'm wrong. I want to know why. Thank you for being here. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please take care, and we will talk again very soon.